gentlemen, here we are at the reviewing area, and here is the real grade Justice Gundam model kit on the reviewing area. Now, but before we get onto the review here, like I said to y'all, real grade model kits are where you don't just build the whole robot here. You have to build the inner frame, which is the skeleton part, and then put the armor over it, which is cool. But when it comes to handling and playing with them, they can range from good qualities to like not so good qualities to them. This kit is a good quality kit. Like, once he's all put together, he does feel really good in hand and won't look like he's about to fall apart. Which is nice. But sometimes when you're trying to pose them, you need to be really, like, you need to have a whole lot of like patience, and you need to be also very careful of how you're posing them, because some pieces might be falling off, which you're probably gonna see here in this video a lot. And sometimes they might even snap off some parts where you may or may not glue them back together. Because that comes down to the inner frame part. Because what they used to do in the past for the inner frame parts, at first glance they look cool from the early and mid 2010s, but they had like a rubber feel to them, like a rubber-ish feel to them from the 2010s, the early and mid, and they were somewhat good for their time, because this inner frame part of this kit does have that rubber feel of the inner frame part. So it sometimes does work, but other times it really doesn't really work. But the newer real grade model kits that we got are huge improvements and much better. Well, some of them still have issues where if you're trying to move a joint, they will fall. A piece might fall off still. But the newer ones that we got, like I already said, are huge improvements. And this kit still does look great for its time. And it still is. Just sometimes when you're trying to move the joints around, a lot of pieces might fall off. And hopefully if Real Grade does decide to make some improvements from their past work, like this one here, like they did with the RX-78-2, because they did made a second version, which they're calling version 2.0 of the RX-78-2, which looks miles better, and it poses a lot better than the original one. Because the original one, that first one did not really age well. Because every time you pose him or move a joint around, pieces just keep falling off. Because the inner frames that they did in the past, the rubber ones, compared to the ones in today's time where they're plastic, that did not really aged well at all. And like I already said, the new Real Grade kits that we got are a lot better than the older ones we've had in the early and mid 2010s, but they still, well, some of them still have their issues. But anyways, now that that's out of the way, let's now take a look at this kit. So just like with the high grade Gundam model kits, you do of course get a sticker sheet, except for Real Grades you get these type of stickers, which are, you can kind of see here, you can kind of sort of see here, these are actually tampographed detail works, like here and these white things here, which y'all cannot really see, but these are stickers which are tampographed ones. But you still do get your standard other sticker sheet where, like these ones, and also the eyes here, where if you don't want to use these stickers, then you can paint it up yourself. Which I did not do any painting on this kit, because for Real Grade kits, at least from what I saw, there's not really a lot of painting you have to do. Just minimum painting you have to do for Real Grade kits. But if you don't have any paint on it, it still does look really cool. And now getting a closer look here. Now, this kit does come with a jetpack backpack, but I'll show you that in a minute when we get to the accessories. But getting a closer look at the head sculpt here, you can see it is a very nice head sculpt here. And it does have some clear here, which I am going to have to paint blue. And the eyes, which you can see are black, which are supposed to be green, which I am, of course, going to paint them green. And going down to the arms here, I'll talk about the hands here because, as always, you do come with interchangeable hands for this kit, just like with the high grades that I've reviewed. And like you already saw for the arm here, where it just droops down by itself, I will also talk about that as well when we get to the articulation. And going on the chest here, which has a lot of nice detail work to it. And going down to the skirting area. And all around, for being an older real grade kit from the early 2010s, this kit still does look really cool. And going down to the legs, where you have a lot of nice detail work to it. I will also talk about the coloring of it in a minute. Well, when we get to the accessories. Yeah. I will talk about the coloring when we get to the accessories. Okay, so now that we took a look at everything, let's now go over the articulation. So the head is on a ball joint, and the base of the neck is on a hinge joint here. So you can have him look up. Well, he only looks up about that far, but he can look down only about there. And the arms can rotate all the way around. And they do move in and out on this joint and this joint. And these things, like you see here, do move as you move the arms out. Now, while we're talking about the arms, as you saw on this arm moves for no problems so far. This one, from what y'all saw, yeah, it kind of droops down. Because the inner frame part for this kit that came out in the early 2010s, the rubber of the endoskeleton most of the time that they'll work, like they'll hold the position, but other times, like this one here, not so much, which means you have to super glue, like put a tiny bit of super glue on the peg to help tying it up. So these endoskeleton parts, which are the rubber ones, most of the time they'll work, and then most of the time they would not hold up the joints. But the newer ones don't have those rubber parts from what I can tell. Some might still do, but others, for the newer ones, do not. As far as I remember. Yeah. So some of the newer real grade kits still have those rubber endoskeletons, and some of them just have solid plastic endoskeleton parts. Yeah, from what I can remember. I think in today's time they did away with that rubber endoskeleton part. I could be wrong. If I am, let me know in the comment section below. Or if I'm right, if they've done away with that rubber endoskeleton part, let me know in the comment section below. But continuing on, the arms also do move forward and back on an armpit joint, and the shoulder pads do move up and down, and these white things do move as well. And you also have a bicep swivel, and you do have some double jointed elbows, and if I come around here, you can also see some working parts here move as you bend the elbow. Now for the hands, they do have a ball joint at the wrist. And not only do they have a ball joint at the wrist, but they also move at a hinge joint here. And as you can see, that this part here does move, and which is a flaw I have with it. And I'll get to that when we get to the accessories. Now, these fingers here, they do have a ball joint at the thumb. These are the articulated fingers. He does come with some non-articulated hands as well, but I put these on because, well, I'm just going to go ahead and show you here. So you do have a ball joint at the thumb, and for the fingers, these three fingers move on their own. So you have a ball joint here, and a hinge joint here. And the index finger has a ball joint here and a hinge joint here. You could see. Now, if I remember, I think the newer Real Great kits that we got, they might still be doing these, or they don't do these articulated hands anymore. I could be wrong. Or I could be right. If I'm either right or wrong, if they still are doing these articulated fingers or not in today's Real Great kits that we got, let me know in the comment section below. But for the torso here, it can swivel, move forward about there, and back about there. And you do have some waist pivot here. And on the back here, these things do move, but they move together. Now for the skirting, the back skirt piece does move a little bit up and down, and it can move side to side. And the side skirts can move up and down, and they can rotate if you want to do that. And the front skirts are on ball joints, so they can again move out of the way. And for the legs here, now for this, I'm going to have to remove the upper body here. And I'm going to have to remove one of his legs to show you. So the hips, they do shift, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove the other leg off. The hips do shift, and the way they do it is by I'm also gonna remove this. They shift by, okay, yeah, they shift by this section here. Yeah, y'all did kind of. Yep. See it shift? Yep. So it allows you to have his legs for more range. If you shift them down, and this part here, this part here does also move. I think this is like a locking mechanism. Because it does slide up and down. So I think this is like a locking mechanism, where if you want this hole where the legs plug in, to either have them like this or like or like this. I think that that's what it's for. I think it is a locking point. But to show you on the legs do move forward and back. And to show you on the back skirt, it does move. It does move up, but I think only about here. And you do have that swivel joint there. But the legs do move forward and back, in and out. They do have a thigh swivel, and they do bend at the knee. And as you bend the knee, you do see the knee pad moves from the inner frame, and this part, well, I'm going to go ahead and remove the leg here to show you. Yep. See? Some parts do kind of fall off, and sometimes they do stay on. And now I'm trying to get this knee pad back on. There we go. So, as I was saying, as you bend the knee pad moves, and this part does move as well. You see there. Yep. And for the feet, they can move up and down, and these ankle guards do move as well. And you do have some ankle pivot, and they do swivel, and you do have a toe joint which can move here, and this tip part of the toe can move only a little bit. Yeah, only a tiny bit. And that's it. And another piece fell off. So I'm going to try and get this guy back together real quick. Hopefully I won't get to the point where I have to cut the camera. And there goes the knee pad again. Yeah, real grade kits can sometimes fall apart if you're not handling these kits the correct way. Because sometimes some pieces might fall off, like you just saw here. Okay, I am gonna have to put a little dab of super glue on that peg to help thicken it up. Okay. So, so now that that's done with the articulation. Now let's move on to the accessories of what he comes with. So for accessories, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the hands. So the ones that you already saw is the articulated finger hands. But he does come with only one open hand here, which is for this arm here. And you do get two closed fists with these weird, like, hole things, which are not meant to hold anything. These are just closed fist hands. And okay, the open hand and the fist hands, from what I see, do not. Okay. Yeah, the open hands and the closed fists do not have that hinge joint on the ball joint like the articulated hands do, from what I see. I don't know why, but okay. And he does come with one gripping hand for him to hold one of his weapons, like you see here. And as you can see, I already have it in here. And this one, oh, well, okay, okay. The holding hand, weapon holding hand doesn't have a hinge joint on the ball joint. So, from what I see, these interchangeable hands, which are the non-articulated finger ones, do not have that hinge joint at the ball joint, which allows you to move his hands up and down like this, like the articulated fingers do. And to have him hold his weapons, just like with the high grades, you would remove his fingers from this part here, and, well, I'll go ahead and show it to y'all right now. Okay, so there we go. And I'm trying to, well, I'll go ahead and tell y'all. So, to attach the weapon holding hand to either one of his weapons, on the inside of the hand there's a hole where it goes into a tab onto one of his guns, which is the beam rifle here, and the other accessories, which I will get into in a minute. And then attach the fingers onto. So you have that. And while we're talking about the beam rifle, he does come with his beam rifle here, which does look nice. And it does have some translucent clear piece here for the sight here. The targeting sight here. And it does have this white tab here where you can store it onto this hole here for weapon storage. Just like that. And this part of the handle does move side to side, so you can have him hold it in both hands if you want to. And also the articulated hands on the inside of the palms do have some holes in them, like you see here. So you can either hold the beam rifle with the articulated fingers or not. And swapping the hands is easy, but when you're swapping the hands out, you will have to be very careful not to lose these, because when you're popping off the hands, these will fall off and they will get lost if you're not mindful. And you do get some 2 beam saber handles here with some tabs, so you can have them hold them in the articulated fingers or the non-articulated hand, like I showed you. On the 2 white tabs into the holes on these hands and the weapon holding hand. And you do, of course, get 2 beam effect parts, which are these, and they attach to this peg and that hole onto both of them. But what you can also do with these is you can attach them together using these tabs until they snap into place. Just like that. So you can have a, like, Darth Maul double-bladed beam saber. Just like that. And you can store these into him. And to do that, on his side skirts, these parts do open up, and you can slide these in. Like that, and then close these up, and there you go. And you could do it on the other side as well. And you do get his shield here, which is nicely done here, of the color breakup here. And here's the other side here. And it does have a ball joint here and a hinge joint here. And you also get this handle adapter piece here, which has 3 tabs. So you can tab it. Oh, and you do get a number of holes here that you can attach this handle adapter on. So you can have it like this, or like this. Or you can have it like this. And to have him, well, to attach this onto him, on the bottom of his arms, there's these holes here where you can attach it from this peg to that hole there. Just like that. So you can have that. And if the handle was attached here, you would have them hold it with the handle if you want to. And you do get another set of beam effect parts, which are these two here. And what these are for is on his shoulder pads, these white things, you can remove them. And on the inside of these, there's a hole here where this tab on these can attach to. And you would flip this out, and these tabs will allow you to attach them onto his hands. And you have these beam boomerangs here, which are really cool. Okay. And I will have to get him out of the way, because another accessory that you do get is a little standing pilot that pilots the Justice Gundam named Atherin Zala. And yes, he is really, really tiny. And I'm going to try my best to try and show you the detail works. But yeah, you do get a little standing statue of Atherin Zala here, who is the pilot of the Justice Gundam. And he does come with a little stand which is attached to him on the sprue when you snip him out. But as you can see, my stand did kind of broke off when I was getting him out of the runner. And yeah, like I said, that this is really tiny, but also well detailed. And if you're thinking about painting this little figure, you definitely need to have a steady hand to try and get all this detail work in, for being how small this thing is. And to show you in the instruction book, here's what it would look like if it's all painted up. Yeah, really small. And the Justice Gundam does have a little feature in him, and that is on his chest. This part does slide forward and does flip up, because this is where the pilot would go inside. And no, the standing pilot figure that does not attach inside of here. The little standing pilot statue that you get for this kit that I already showed you does not sit inside here. And like I said, this part does move up and down. And the last piece of accessory you get is, of course, his little jetpack here. Which does have a lot of nice detail work to it. Of a lot of the color breakup on it. And here's the bottom here. And that there is like two different shades of purple here. You can see that, which is where I was gonna tell y'all, because another issue I have with it is there's like two different color shades of purple, which for the newer real grade kits we get, I don't think well, from what I saw, we don't have a color separation problem for the new real grade kits from what I saw. Because on the older real grade kits, there was a lot of color separations. I know that. But for the new real grade kits, the Gundam ones, from what I saw, there's not really a lot of color separations for the new ones, as far as I can tell. But this does attach to him. But before I do that, to show you that this jetpack that you are going to attach to him does have some articulation. And that is, these guns do detach and move up and down. And these little guns do move up and down. And they can rotate. And the wings here do move in and out. And they rotate. And they do slide forward and back. And there is a slot here where this tab goes into, if you want to slide them back. And they do stay in, but as you can see, it's not super secured in, which I would have liked if they would like snap in. And these thruster parts do move on ball joints. And these things do move as well. And these do move around, and I'll get to why these move. And, oh, and also, well, first I gotta put these wings back in. And these sliders, the sliders where the wings slide up and down do have a locking point. Like y'all heard. And also, this does split apart from here and here. So you can have that. And this does attach to him on his back. And to do that, you will have to flip out this connector piece, which is on a hinge joint here and here. And it attaches to him on that slot piece into this connector here. Which does look really cool on him, but as you can see, it is way too back heavy for him. But what you can also do is, if you, well, there goes his shield. I'm gonna leave that off. But what you can also do with it is, if you split it open and bring it forward, and then and now we're falling apart again. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this and push these in. You can have that look there, which of course is gonna make him fall over, but there is a way to fix this, and that is, on the bottom they give you this adapter piece that attaches to here like this. And you also get this here. Which attaches to that here. Like that. And once that's attached, now it's more stable. And one more thing that you can also do is, if I split this apart and detach the back piece here, and there goes his head. But one more thing that you can do with it is, if I remove this and remove this off and flip this back in, on the top here where you can flip these out, there's these two tabs where on the bottom of his feet will attach to these holes here. There we go. So you can have him like he's flying around on top of it, like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. And that is all of the accessories that you get for this kit. We have now finally reached all of the accessories. So now let's get to our final thoughts here.